So you see, this all goes, but the cube hides another symbol, which I'll get into later. That's why you keep seeing a cube, but it's really another symbol. But let's just stay on that for right now. This is interesting. Now, this is one of the guys, the actual heading on the bottom. I didn't get the clip, but it said, "The Mad Scientists of Cern." Very revealing. Now, people laugh and say, "Oh, mad scientists." Yeah, you better bet your ass they are. Now, look at his fingers. He's got holding up 3. It looks innocent enough, but it's not. It's his left hand. He's holding up 3. That's in relevance to Saturn itself. And look what's behind him, a blue cube. Okay? Now, where else did I see somebody making a hand signal like that? Well, let's take a look. Ah, there he is. He's one of those dead guys that came out of the Chilean miners' hole that NASA had to get involved to save some dudes in an impoverished country, and 1 billion people watched. But interestingly enough, he's holding up the same hand with the same 3 fingers. And goes back to Saturn. Okay? So yeah, these aren't mad scientists. Yeah, these are dead people that came back to life. They were reanimated. That's why they said 1 billion people watched the excavation of these guys, or extrication, excuse me. They got them out. 1 billion people out of 6.5 billion. 1 out of every 6. How is that possible? How is that possible? You know what that tells me? That tells me that there's a whole lot more people involved in what's going on this planet than what we can imagine. As a matter of fact, I don't think there are 6.5 billion. I think there's a lot more of those things than there are humans. Have you ever seen that movie, They Live? Well, the movie's kind of corny in a way, but it just gives you the idea that, you know, there are those things amongst us. Jesus said they're here. It also says in the Old Testament, be careful how you entertain a stranger. You may be entertaining an angel unaware. Okay, so this is nothing new. I'm not talking about reptilians. I'm just saying there's other things here with us. This is another part of Cern. You can see that's wiring, but it doesn't. It almost looks like a plant, doesn't it? But it really looks like the sun. And if you look in the center, you see the eye. So that would be the black sun. The black sun is Saturn, the dark star. Okay, you see all the nice little cubes on the inside. So let's go back into religion here. Let's take a little peek, because they always mimic this thing. This is what's very confusing. Why are there so many religious artifacts that take on after parts of this machine? You know, it kind of makes one tend to think that maybe this thing survived and did become the god of this world, and because people didn't know what it was in the old day when they found it, they just copied it, kind of like a time loop. You know what I mean? But the world got destroyed, and somebody found it. If you go read the uncanonized book of Enoch, it says that his father took him to the underground temple, and he describes that there was a machine that had 9 vaults, and they were all connected together by what's called an armature. It's a line of sight. And he said when the machine went, it was really, really loud, and all of the pretty colors it made, and it was when they say the underground temple, do you know this thing sits underground? It doesn't sit on top. It sits under a big freaking lake. And he said that there were 2 pillars, and each pillar had a design on it, and there was writing on it, and one is an upside down triangle, and the other one is a right side up triangle, like you'd see in an elevator. So, coincidentally, look at these candles. You see how one's higher than the rest in the middle? That's a cube. Just draw a line on either side, and you're looking at a box from an angle. I just wanted to throw this in. You guys have watched enough of my videos. This is Pink Floyd. Okay, Dark Side of the Moon. I want you to look real closely. Look at their color scheme. Red, yellow, blue, green. Again, with that's a time cube. That's why they've got the pyramid over here. Remember I showed you with the Superman in the video with the other guy? You see that? What that is that's the information coming in from a higher level, and then it splits it into the lower dimensions. That's what that is. But what's interesting, the reason I put this up, is that the Emerald City was on Saturn. That's where they were off to. And if you remember when she took off on the yellow brick road, it was a spiral. So that's where they were going. They were going to the Emerald City. This is from Star Wars. It's interesting. Here's the color code again. Red, yellow, blue, green. It's always the same thing. Red, yellow, blue, green. Red, yellow, blue, green. That's what your pyramids are when you look at them from the top. They're a time cube. You know, but they're red is time. Blue is space. You notice they got interesting. They got the picture with the swords. But it's always the same thing. It's always the same thing. Red, yellow, blue, green. Because that is the time cube. What goes on Saturn affects the Earth, and it's like a big program. When one side gets done running, it flips to the next side, and when that side runs and it runs its program, it flips to the next side and runs a program, and that's what sets everything down here. That's why you keep hearing me referring to this thing as a machine. This is very bizarre stuff. Very bizarre. But the reason I keep showing you these colors is so that you get it in your head. It's always the same thing. It's round and round and round. It's constantly. You know? I mean, it's red, yellow, blue, green, red, yellow, blue, green. Man, I'm about ready to finish up on this video for today. And this was the other one that went along with that set. This is Darth Vader. Now, there's one other, major color two other major colors that you see with it. Saturn's color in mythology is black. That's why cops wear black uniforms, because he's the god of authority. That's why judges, priests, rabbis, Nazis, SWAT, all authority figures wear black, because he's the god of authority, and this world is run under Saturnalian rule. That's why you see these guys. So look at Darth Vader. You got black. He's wearing a Nazi helmet, speaking through the Masonic triangle. Okay, but what's more important is you've got gold and you've got black. Those are very important colors. Gold and black. And isn't it interesting that we're returning to the golden age of Saturn, and gold, the price of it is astronomical? It's not a coincidence, but I'd like to know what they're doing with that gold. Okay? Where's that gold actually? Where is it? Okay, so, these are just things that I want you to just look at and ponder on. Once again, this is used strictly for entertainment purposes. To me, it's not entertaining, but to you, it may be. I just want you to consider it. But at no stretch of the imagination have I figured anything out. I just keep seeing the same patterns over and over again, and they keep being pushed in that direction. So I have to conclude that thing, through some other information I have, is what runs this planet. And so I'm going to finish up with this picture. You might have saw it yesterday, but it's creepy nonetheless. And here it is. Here he is. You've seen him before, I'm sure. The picture, the red and the blue isn't behind him. It's on his face. It's like he's in it. And you see where the line is, where the red crosses the blue? Well, that's the corner of a cube. If you look on the top of the cube. You see? There's three little things, but if you could move that, you'd see that was another cube. Okay? So, very interesting, weird, creepy stuff. Once again, why are they hiding this from us? The only reason that you hide knowledge is so that you've always got it over on somebody, right? That's the only reason. Because you don't want them to have it. Because you want to be able to force them into position. There's no other reason. Otherwise, you would just tell them. Like these guys, these New World Order guys, they're always talking about, blah, blah, blah. And they leave you with more questions than you got answers when you listened or bought their crap. I'm just trying to give you what I know. Okay? That's it. That's all I'm trying to do here. So I hope you're getting some answers, or at least some of the shit's piecing together for you. Because it answers a whole lot of stuff for me. It does raise other questions, but it seems to answer more than it creates. Thanks a lot. Talk to you tomorrow.